let's play one more clip of Ben Carson in Italy now, and there's a trajectory. Do we have the trajectory that graphic from Italy? This gives you a sense of how rapidly the number of cases in Italy have grown, and in February 8th, they had 3 cases. February 18th, they had 3 cases. By February 21st, they had 20 cases. By February 24th, they had 231 cases. By February 25th, it was somewhere between 231 and 655, because the 27th, they had 655. That is, on March 7th, that's where the U.S. was, okay? Equivalent to February 25th in Italy. By March 7th, they had gone 11 days, I guess that's 11 days. They had almost 6,000 cases. So 8 days later, the Italian government, from where we were yesterday, shut down all schools 8 days later. And then 3 days after that, so 11 days later, from where we were yesterday, relative to Italy, they quarantined like a quarter of their population in Italy, northern Italy. That's how drastic the steps that they took. Here is Ben Carson. Now, just want to tell you, Ben Carson was a neurosurgeon. He's a brain surgeon. Now, how many brains do you operate on at one time, Matt?
1, I think.
That's correct. Now, you're not a brain surgeon.
No.
But it seems like you're at least on your way. In other words, the concept of operating on a brain and the concept of public health are not necessarily the same thing. He is not a public health expert any more than he is or was a public housing expert. But they send him on there because he's a doctor, and we need some type of like seeming legitimacy. With all that information about Italy you just saw, here's his response as to what we need in terms of like a plan to deal with communities, essentially community infection, which basically means the infections are no longer coming from outside the community, they're coming from within the community.
Some governments and communities are taking broader measures right now. We just announced overnight Italy is on lockdown in the north. Major conferences like South by Southwest have been canceled here in the United States. Companies like Facebook and Twitter are urging employees to work from home if they can. Is it time for more extensive community-wide measures to contain this virus?
I think it's time for people to really indulge themselves in learning about how viruses are spread, and to take advantage of that knowledge in determining what their daily activities are going to be. And as I said before, it's very important to emphasize that there's certain groups of people who are at much higher risk than the general population, and they need to take extra consideration in terms of where they're going to be, how they're going to mingle with the society.
And sir, I get that, and we all need to take responsibility for ourselves. But I'm asking you, as a representative of the president, as a member of the coronavirus task force, what should the community be doing? Is it time for more extensive measures? We've heard the president say, for example, that he's going to continue with political rallies in the face of this. Is this sending the right message, or is it time for broader community measures to contain this?
Again, going to a rally, if you're a healthy individual and you're taking the precautions that have been placed out there, there's no reason that you shouldn't go. However, if you belong to one of those categories of high risk, obviously you need to think twice about that.
I'm confused by the message you're sending right now, Dr. Carson. I have to say, we just heard yesterday the governor of California say it's not a question of when schools are going to close. I mean, if schools are going to close, but when schools are going to close. We've seen companies taking responsibility for their employees and saying, let's not have any unnecessary travel. You seem to be putting all the responsibility back on individuals, saying that they should be thinking for themselves. I'm trying to ask you what, in the view of the government experts right now, what broader measures need to be taken?
Those recommendations will be coming out from the CDC. They're being evaluated on a daily basis. Right now, the recommendation is as I just prescribed. Go about your normal daily activities if you are healthy. If you are not healthy, think very seriously about attending places where there are crowds.
Dr. Carson, thanks for your time this morning.
All right, folks. Now, I'm no brain surgeon, but I want you to contemplate this. Let's just say hypothetically, my dad or my mom is unhealthy, so they're going to stay at home. And I'm going to go to a rally, and I'm going to see all these people there, and I don't have to worry about it because I'm healthy. And I contract the coronavirus, and I come home, and I hug my mom and dad. Hi, I'm home. Don't worry about a thing. You didn't go to the rally. You're perfectly safe. And 14 days later, I start to have a cough. And then 15 days later, my dad does, or my mom does. I mean, this is just stunning. And I like the fact he's like, if you have one of the prescribed illnesses, what are the reasons why you shouldn't go? Don't go. And take all the precautions that we've talked about. Every one of you out there should be working as an individual on your own test and maybe vaccine. Look, is it not in your own self-interest to do this? If we all just pursued our own self-interest here, ladies and gentlemen, by going out and creating a test or creating a vaccine, or for that matter, a cure, we would be fine. But there are too many people in this society who are just takers. They're not makers. They're sitting around going, you come up with a vaccine, you come up with a test, and I'm just going to use it. That's the problem we have. People are not taking personal responsibility. They are not following their own self-interests.
Yeah, and if you get the coronavirus, it's probably your own fault.
I mean, who are you going to blame? Why are you always blaming somebody else? Why are we letting the public health safety net become a hammock for everybody?
I've been staying up till 3 a.m. learning how to model viral spreads on programs on computer just so I can make sure I'm safe.
There you go.